Vic and John. Can you talk a little bit about what KJ Hamler is going to bring to your team, maybe not just on offense, but on special teams, and then also Cushionberry and what he can bring to the offensive line?
Well, obviously with Hamler, he's he's very, very explosive, really can run and get the big playability and the guy that, as Vic would say, scares the heck out of defenses. And so, and plus he's got the ability to run routes. He's quick. He's tough. And again, you go back and say he's a great returner. We'll have to see how much he does return, but he's got that ability, and he's a tough guy for his size. And so he's a guy that can really, 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 really run. So that's why we're excited about here. Cushionberry is a guy that's a very solid center and played SEC and had a great career down there. And so we're excited about Lloyd also. So felt like it was a fairly good day today. And ultimately, though, they got to come in and play. But we felt good about when the day was over where we were.
Next, we've got Andrew Mason, followed by Nikki Javala. Andrew, go ahead, please.
Vic, wanted to ask you about Michael Ojemudia. What did you like about him and how he's going to fit back there in your secondary?
Well, the first thing I liked when we were watching him was just the way he played. He played good. Showed good instincts, had a good feel for the game. He runs well. He's got some length. Good tackler. I just liked the way he played the game in all areas of his job, and we were happy to get him there too.
Next, we've got Nikki Javala, followed by Eric Dalala. Nikki, go ahead, please.
This is mainly for Vic. Where do you see McTelvin-Agam fitting in on the defensive line?
Well, he'll just start off being one of the guys there, and we'll see how he develops and where exactly he could fit in. He's a guy that needs developing. He's not a complete player at this point, obviously. But we do like some of the tools that he has and some of the potential that he has. But hopefully we can develop him into being a guy that can compete to make our team, and if he does, contribute.
Next, we've got Eric Dalala, followed by Jeff Legwold. Eric, go ahead.
Yeah, Vic, back to Ojemudia. Do you see him as a special teamer to start? How ready do you feel he is to contribute on defense right away?
Well, that's up to him. Everything's open. Competition is there. We'll play the guys that deserve to play regardless of the year, whether they're a rookie or a veteran or in between. And, he's got the right to come in here and compete and earn a job.
Next, we've got Jeff Legwold, followed by Zach Stevens. Jeff, go ahead.
This is for both of you guys. Did you consider taking Cushionberry earlier than you did? Was that ever in your thinking? And do you see him as a possible starter as a rookie?
Go ahead, Vic.
No.
Why? Well, I think that did we think about taking them earlier? Obviously, we had our picks and we had the game plan of how we thought they may fall. I think with our thinking going into the third and the way the board was coming out and that we thought the number one thing we needed in the third was the corner, and then Michael was our was the guy that we had targeted there, and so we were thrilled that he was there. And then then we had Lloyd. That was the center position was next, and so it felt pretty good for us, Jeff. And so, but we're excited about it. I mean, Lloyd is a guy that has had success in the SEC. Big, very athletic, and he's long enough to where he'll be able to play center and guard. And so, we're excited about both those players.
Vic,
Yeah.
you see him as a potential starter?
Sure. He's going to go in there and compete with Austin and Pat. And again, he's got the license to go in there and compete and win the job if he can. And we'll see how he develops. But we do like his ability, his potential, the play he put on tape at LSU, and he'll go in there with those other two guys and compete for the job.
Next, we've got Zach Stevens with DNVR, followed by Eric Dalala. Zach, go ahead, please.
John, you had a lot of capital entering the day, specifically today and overall. Did you consider trading up to get any of these guys? And in the end, why did you not?
Well, I think you always have opportunities during the draft. We had opportunities to move back. We had opportunities to move up. And I think ultimately, we decided that, we're going to stay where we are. And we're glad we are, because we ended up not losing any of our picks. We still have all our picks tomorrow also. And we're able to get the people that we wanted. And so you're always through those discussions, trying to get all the information that you possibly can of who in front of you may be taking what or whatnot. And that's part of the draft game. And so, but we're happy with the way that it fell today with the players that we really, after yesterday coming out with Jerry, and then, Hamler was a target for us in the second round because of his explosiveness and speed to be able to really stretch the field for us. And we felt like we needed another speed guy, and that was Hamler. And so he was our target early. Obviously, first part of the day when we're coming out, sitting there waiting to see if he was going to be there. And we've heard of plenty of teams behind us that were, obviously very interested in KJ also. So it felt well for us. And so I think that looking back on it, the way things fell, we're excited with the players that we had. And, it turned out it was a good day for us.
Next, we've got Eric Dalala, followed by Brandon Cristal. Eric, go ahead, please.
John, you've talked before about how you don't love to draft for need. How close were these guys to being the best players available on the board at the time that you took them? And do you feel like going into tomorrow, you still have holes to fill, or can you go BPA there?
Well, we're still going to go we're going to try to find football players that can play in the NFL and not necessarily where we need them. And hopefully, the good thing is when you find players of need that are higher on your board that are still available, that they're the best on the board, then it's a good fit. So we'll continue with the same philosophy. I think the kids that we got today are very quality kids. They're all love the game of football, love to play, hard workers, and so they'll fit right into the locker room, and we'll do the same thing, take the same mentality into tomorrow.
Next, we've got Brandon Cristal, followed by Nikki Javala. Brandon, go ahead, please.
Ask you this question, at least since y'all started working together. So, Vic, I'll ask you, because I think I always ask John. How is it at this point working together? I know you are taking a lot of walks pre-draft, but with being in different rooms, how has it been so far, communication and staying on the same page?
It's been pretty seamless. We haven't had any problems communicating with the unusual setup for this draft. And I think John's done a great job orchestrating it. We had some guys we wanted today, and we had chances to go up and get them. And John decided to sit, and it ended up being the right choices both times. So we saved draft picks and got the guys we wanted. So, I just think that comes with his experience doing the job. So I just get out of the way when it comes to that point.
Next, we've got Nikki Javala with The Athletic. Nikki, go ahead, please.
John, I know you said at the Combine it was really important to you to build around Drew Lock and give him the pieces to be successful. When you look at the guys you signed in free agency and have drafted so far, are you happy with where the offense stands right now? And then secondly, is the expectation that Garrett Bowles will start at left tackle this season?
Garrett, let me start with Garrett. Garrett's going to compete for a job like everybody else on the football team. And so, the bottom line is, Eli Wilkinson will be back. And so they're going to compete for jobs like everybody else. And I think it's our job on the personnel side to give Gil and Vic and his staff, the best players that we can to create that competition. And so that's what our job is to do on the personnel side. So they will be competing. Garrett Bowles is going to compete like everybody else. These young guys, doesn't matter what round they're drafted in, they still have to come in and compete. And so, but Nikki, I will say this, is that we're thrilled with the type of guys that they are too. It's been a focus, but we got, quality guys that want to play football, that like the game, know what it takes to be successful. Obviously, they're going to be very young, but I think that, the best thing that we can do for our football team is create that competition, because it brings the best out of everyone. And those who don't want to compete, then they can go somewhere else. But we're all about the competition, and the best players are going to play.
Jeff Legwell, go ahead, and we've got time for a couple more after Jeff. Thanks.
I was just curious if you both saw. Do you see Hamler competing as a returner as well, given what he did in college?
We talked about that too when we in draft meetings, and he obviously can do it in certain situations. both kicks and punts. And but I haven't seen many players over the years, once they develop into a really good player and a primary starter, do it on a full-time basis around the league. So we'll see how that goes. If he develops into where he's getting a lot of playing time on offense, and that maybe it won't happen, but if he's not getting a lot of playing time on offense early on, then maybe he can be a returner. But we like Spence as our returner too, so it will take a lot for us to not still have Spence to do that too. So we feel good about our return game with both KJ and Spence.
And John, I'm just curious, did you talk about the drops with him this past season? He seemed to have a few more this past season.
Yeah, he did. And, that was something that we looked at. But I think that when you looked at his ability to catch the ball, it's not because he doesn't have good ball skills. Obviously, he's got just the concentration drops, which are the easy drops that you don't concentrate, look it in. And so, we felt like those are things that are obviously very coachable. He'll be on that jugs machine as much as all those guys. Cortland will be the guy that leading them, getting them on the jug machine. But, when we looked at KJ, in fact, with those drops, they weren't because he had bad ball skills. They were because he didn't concentrate watching in. So that was something that we felt like, in talking to Vic, that we could coach and make them better, make him better with that. And so even though he did have some drops, we felt like we could coach him through that and he'd get better with it.
Thanks.
Last one, Ryan O'Haller in Denver Post. Ryan, go ahead, please.
Hey, John, real quick on Bowles to follow up. Have you guys made a decision on his fifth-year option yet?
No, we're not out of the draft yet. So we still have another day to go tomorrow. We've got 4 more picks tomorrow. So, we'll figure that out when we get out, when we get back, kind of regroup and start, look back at the draft, look how things went, and then look like what we're going to do going forward.